morning, Discovery, and a special good morning to you today, Nicole.
Good morning, Shannon, and good morning, Houston. Thank you so much for playing that song, and a special thanks to my son Roman for selecting that. Ginormous thanks to him, and big space hugs. That's one of our very special ones, and just wanted to let him know I love him more than anything.
That song was Made to Love by Toby Mac, played for Mission Specialist Nicole Stott from her family and specifically from her son. And with that, the Discovery crew now awake, and we'll have a few hours of personal time before they begin with their activities today. That will have them joining the International Space Station crew to kick off 8 days of joint docked operations.
This is Mission Control, Houston. Station truss cameras capturing our first view of the shuttle Discovery at a distance of about 38 nautical miles. We'll be standing by for this firing of the engines, about a 44-second firing of the orbital maneuvering system engines that will change Discovery's velocity by about 70 feet per second and narrowing the gap between it and the International Space Station. Good view from the station truss cameras as you saw the ignition of the orbital maneuvering system engines. The NC-4 burn underway.
Discovery, good burn, no further trim required.
Rendezvous operations continue. A good view right now of the extended docking ring on the orbiter docking system that was checked out yesterday. That docking ring, of course, will come into contact with the docking mechanism on the forward port of the Harmony connecting node as the two vehicles, the shuttle and the International Space Station, will link up to begin 8.5 days of joint docked operations. View that you're looking at right now is of Discovery from cameras on the International Space Station. The two craft now flying at a distance of about 9 nautical miles from one another. At the time of the terminal initiation burn, Discovery will be just 8 nautical miles behind the station. A good view of the firing of the left orbital maneuvering system engine. The terminal initiation burn underway.
Discovery, good burn, no further trim required.
Discovery, copy.
And Discovery, Houston, you are go for the RPM, go to proceed inside 600 feet.
Okay, we copy. Go for the RPM, go to proceed within 600, and for the ground and station, we have tally ho. And station copies.
Pat Forrester reporting to the station crew and Mike Barrett that they have a tally ho on the International Space Station You can see it very clearly in this sequential still video in the absence of a signal right now through the KU band communication system. This snapshot effect is through the orbiter's S-band communication system. This view from the centerline camera mounted in the orbiter docking system. A good view of the glistening solar arrays of the International Space Station. The two vehicles just 40,000 feet apart.
We see you also and your guys on. Right.
This view from the station cameras with Discovery just 1,200 feet from the station, moving to a point directly below the International Outpost.
And Discovery Station, we're ready for the RPM maneuver. We copy.
Gennady Padalka and Mike Barrett are poised in the Zvezda service module, armed with digital cameras equipped with 800 and 400 millimeter lenses. Barrett will be shooting the camera with the 800 millimeter lens to obtain 1-inch analytical resolution of the nose landing gear door seals, the main landing gear door seals, the external tank umbilical well door seals, and the Elevon Cove of Discovery. Padalka will be using the camera with a 400 millimeter lens to capture imagery of the overall acreage of the thermal protection system heat shield on the orbiter.
Station Discovery initiating RPM 3, 2, 1, mark. Copy, and we're starting topside photos.
Cameras aboard Discovery now capturing a spectacular view of pressurized mating adapter number 2 in the upper right-hand corner of your field of view. In the lower right-hand corner of your screen are the 2 Soyuz vehicles mated to the Pirs docking compartment and the earthward-facing port of the Zarya module for the 6 crew members on board the International Space Station. On the left side is the European Columbus module. You can see very clearly at the bottom of Columbus those 2 square-shaped mechanisms. Those are the MISSI suitcase attaché style experiment packages that will be removed by Danny Olivas and Nicole Stott during the first spacewalk to be conducted on Tuesday. At the top of Columbus is the European Technology Exposure Facility, or UTEF, that will also be removed from Columbus and returned back to Earth for analysis by European scientists. On the right side of your screen, the Japanese Kibo module, the science lab for JAXA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. A good view of the orbiter docking system, the docking ring extended, powered up, set to come into contact with the docking mechanism on the forward end of the Harmony connecting node to join the two vehicles together for the next 8.5 days. Flying over western Brazil, the floodlit payload bay of the shuttle Discovery from cameras on the International Space Station. 124 feet separating Discovery and the International Outpost. Discovery closing in along the velocity vector. Commander Rick Sturko at the controls from the aft flight deck as he slowly but surely inches his way toward a docking with the International Space Station, approaching at a rate of about 0.2 of a foot per second. Discovery now inside 20 feet. Perfect alignment. On the silver anniversary of its maiden launch, Discovery has pulled into port at the International Space Station.
Station says the same. ISS is free drift.
Both vehicles in free drift, all jets disabled to permit relative motion between the two vehicles to dampen out and initiate the latching of hooks and latches between the two vehicles. Discovery and the International Space Station now mated, approaching an orbital sunrise, flying 225 miles over the Ukraine.
Yes, Space Shuttle Discovery arriving. Yes, Flight Engineer Nicole Stott arrival.
The hatches now open at 9:33 p.m. Central Time. Nicole Stott arriving at her new orbital home for the next 3 months. Hatch opening coming at 9:33 p.m. Central Time as Discovery and the International Space Station flew 225 miles over the North Atlantic at a mission elapsed time of 1 day, 22 hours, and 34 minutes. For the second time in as many months, 13 crew members occupying the orbital outpost. The two crews moved very briskly through their leak checks and pressure checks of the vestibule connecting the two vehicles, opening up the hatches about a half an hour ahead of schedule. Gennady Padalka, the expedition commander, will run through a quick safety briefing for the arriving shuttle crew before they get down to work with the exchange of custom-made Soyuz seedliners to officially mark the start of Nicole Stott's tenure as an expedition crew member, and Tim Kopra transitioning from a space station flight engineer to a space shuttle mission specialist. And so after a brief greeting, back to work for the 13 crew members. Again, this safety briefing coming up will be followed by the removal and exchange of the custom-made Soyuz seedliners between Nicole Stott and Tim Kopra, and the initiation of robotics work in which Kevin Ford and Kopra will be at the Space Station Robotics Workstation of the Destiny Laboratory to maneuver the Canadarm2 over in position to grapple and unberth the orbiter boom sensor system, the boom extension, and hand it off to the shuttle robotic arm that will be controlled by Pat Forrester and Jose Hernandez, who at that point will be back onto the aft flight deck of Discovery.
This is Mission Control, Houston. The robotics officer here inside Mission Control is confirming that the station's robotic arm is now in motion to grapple the orbiter boom sensor system, the 50-foot long extension that typically goes on the end of the shuttle's robotic arm. This is Mission Control, Houston, continuing to watch this video from onboard Shuttle Discovery as the shuttle's robotic arm is moved out there to grab onto the orbiter boom sensor system, the 50-foot long attachment that is currently grappled to the station robotic arm. This handoff about to take place here in just a few minutes. The combined crews have been ahead of schedule pretty much all day. The docking took place a little bit early today. The hatch opening was done a few minutes early, and now this activity as well. Inside the station, transfer activities are well underway and will continue for the rest of the mission.
Well, good evening, Houston. This is flight day highlights for flight day 3, and it was a big day for us. Started off, though, with a lot of domestics. There we are setting up for some water dump operations. Christopher pulling messages from ground off of our printer on board so we can make sure we get all the latest updates. Nicole preparing to meet her new housemates aboard the International Space Station, and just a lot of things to take care of. It's fun, but also difficult. There's Pat, the pro, taking care of shaving, and Nicole doing a little PA work, and me trying to get a bite to eat. And then we went on to the almost burn procedures, get a lot of call-ups about how the burns are going to work out, so a lot to write down. Rendezvous kind of clicks along with a lot of setup and a lot of events to keep us moving.
The way the rendezvous was set up is each person on the crew had a responsibility, and some of those rotated, but for the most part we stayed in our positions from when we began the rendezvous sequence all the way till docking. One of the things we had to do was make sure that the docking ring was extended and ready to receive the station. We did a nose burn and prep. You could see the orbital maneuvering system engines firing then, and when that happens, anything that's not tied down will start to move around. It's always exciting the first time that we have a good view of the space station from inside. We usually bring everybody up. Used a little bit of video there of Nicole seeing her new home for the first time, looking through para-stabilized binoculars, and we always report in when we first see the station.
During many months of excellent training, kind of getting our roles and various people doing various things. Jose was taking care of our computers and also shooting the laser to take the distance. Danny was doing most of the video and photoing, and we had Kevin and CJ, of course, flying the vehicle. Kevin did a lot of burns when we needed to get closer. We had some other things we needed to prepare also. We needed to fill water bags for the EVAs. So on a Friday they were approaching the station. On the mid-deck we were filling water bags. And here Nicole is enjoying the view of her future home for several months. It's actually a wonderful view of the space station when you get closer. Beautiful solar rays, like golden shining, and then you have the modules and radiators shining in silver. And as we swing through the cockpit on the flight deck, you can see it's a pretty busy place. All 7 bodies are up here. We're crammed pretty tight, and very little real estate, but we find a way to make everything fit. Everyone has a role and responsibility. The station starts off as a bright dot off in the distance, and it's really impressive to see as it moves closer and closer as we make our approach to station.
Proceed within 600, and for the ground and station we have tally ho.
Station copy. You can see me holding the handheld laser. As soon as we get close enough, we use this as a backup system to our rendezvous software. It was good to see that all the training that we received, we saw everything pretty similar, so everything went very nominal, and it was a great experience going through a real docking routine. And as we got closer, of course, we can see the detail of the station, and of course, everybody wanted to take a good look at it and basically enjoy the moment, because we know that once we get docked to the station, a lot of work is about to begin, and we're pretty excited about that. We went through the last series of burns coming up to the manual phase. The guidance did its job and got the orbiter in a very good situation for the manual takeover to fly it up onto the R-bar.
Closure's good.
Yes, it is. 0.07, let's call it.
Okay. Kevin, I'm giving you long trigger squeezes, so.
Awesome.
5 seconds.
Okay. I'm looking at raw HHL. Let's go with 0.06 maybe.
Okay. Here comes a right. That may help your closure a little bit.
Okay. .07.
Yep.
It's a good closure.
And Y is really active. It's going to be interesting.
It looks great.
Tougher without worms.
Okay, HHL raw showing .04. Got about .05 maybe a closure right now.
Okay, here comes an N, a BN.
There was a .09. Yeah, no more than a BN.
Okay, I'll hold off if you want.
That's the second long mark, .09.
Okay, .09 from the HHL. Raw TCS showing .08. Let's just go with that. We got that. That's nice.
Okay, we're in the bracket then. We will not do the N.
20 feet.
20
Yep.
feet.
Raw TCS .07.
Copy.
HHL's maybe about .06.
Here comes a BN. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Should get it back in the
Yeah,
middle. So
that's
we,
okay.
So we have
Yep.
a firm idea of what it
Yeah,
is.
that's exactly. Tuck's warned us
Close.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you got it up to about .09 there, so
Okay.
that's nice.
That worked good.
Yeah, .09 on HHL.
Thank you.
17 feet.
Roger.
Decimal 1.
Copy decimal 1.
Yep.
15 feet.
Okay. Gonna start using range ruler 2 now. Decimal 1.
There was an attitude firing.
Decimal 1.
14 feet.
The Discovery, we see you at 13 feet. No need to reply.
Decimal 1.
We're going to have a handover right at docking time, and you are primed for the three-trip call between you and ISS.
That's good.
That sounds standard. Decimal 1, CJ. Perfect.
Station copies.
Feet.
Okay. Showing about .08, .09. That's right in the ballpark. Looks good. There's 10 feet. I'm going to arm the PCT.
I'm ready. Okay, here's
Got a
the
light.
fuzzy button right here.
Feet.
Decimal
Right
09.
Copy.
You are right in the envelope there.
All right.
Decimal 1.
9 feet.
Good agreement everywhere at decimal 1.
Thank you.
Feet.
Decimal 09.
Copy.
7 feet.
Decimal 08. Still looking good.
Copy closure.
6 feet.
Decimal 1.
Feet.
Decimal 1.
Prayers out. 4 feet.
Decimal 1.
Fingers on the button.
3 feet.
Decimal 1. Shorter push on the range ruler. Jose.
Okay. Going outside.
Copy. Closure good?
Close.
Yes, closure's good.
Thank you. Fingers on the button.
2 feet.
Decimal 1.
Stay outside, Jose. Okay, pedal overlap, going outside.
Don't move your hand.
Okay. Pedal overlap. And 2 and
Good closure.
Capture. Fired.
Good job. All right. Good job.
Good job,
Kevin. Good job.
All right.
Way to go.
Nice. I gotta disarm my PCT here.
Flight controller power is coming off. Is that it?
Wait a minute. We're doing all the work.
Now you have to check that the ring light, the line doesn't go off. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Mark.
Now it should be coming in.
Drive command is on.
All right, so. Is it moving? All right, excellent.
Oh yeah, there it goes.
I'm watching the ring align line.
I see it going in.
I am. And I will go power on if it goes out.
Very nice. There it's coming in. See it moving right there.
Okay, here you can see the docking system has almost retracted. The ring is retracted all the way. And then it was time to go ahead and you can see the station crew opening the APAS hatch. The shuttle flew very nice for the approach. All of our training at the Johnson Space Center was excellent and prepared us well today.
You're going all the way around. Okay, just hit that screw there. There you go.
Sure did.
All right.
All right, right there.
Let's see, it's unlatched all the way right here, right? Yep. Okay, good. All right. Yes. All right, good. All right. How y'all guys doing? Good to see ya. All right. We're upside down. All right.
Okay, so the day was pretty exciting. Flight day 3, we've been looking forward to it. The docking and then getting on board station. And then we had to get back to work with getting everything ready to transfer over from the shuttle to the station. So you can see us here working, gathering items, and here we are on the station. Frank DeWinna, one of the crew members over on station, is helping us with all of the transfer. You can see Krista helping to move one of the big bags over. And Bob Thirsk. Bob was busy today working on a lot of medical experiments, and Mike Barrett working actively on some of his tasks for the day. And then Kevin and Tim Coper got to work with some of the robotics operations with the boom and the arm.
And Discovery, thanks a lot for sending that down. That was awesome video.
All right, thanks.
Good morning, this is Mission Control Houston. This is a live view in the shuttle flight control room where the Orbit 3 team has just come on duty relieving the outgoing Orbit 2 shift. The shuttle team now being led by Flight Director Gary Horlocker, shown here at the center of your view. He's leading the team as they review all of the activities and plans during the shift. He's being joined by astronaut Shannon Lucid, as you can see at the Capcom console. She serves as the voice of the flight control team as needed. However, that's generally infrequent during this shift as the crew is asleep. We're scheduled for wake up just under 7 hours from now. Otherwise, the 20 different flight controllers here continue to monitor vehicle systems and review their plans for the upcoming day ahead. It will be the first full day of joint dock operations after the successful docking of the 2 spacecraft yesterday. The space shuttle arrived at the International Space Station, performed its rendezvous pitch maneuver, and then docked with the vehicle at 7:54 p.m. Central Time, about just a few minutes early. All the leak checks were successful, and they had a hatch opening at 9:33 p.m. Central Time. Once the 2 crews were united on board, they had their requisite safety briefing, but then moved in to transfer work and robotics. They also transferred the Soyuz seat liner, which denotes the transition of the rotation of the two crew members, Nicole Stott and Tim Copra. Stott had ridden up with the shuttle crew, but now is officially a flight engineer on the Expedition 20 crew, replacing Tim Copra, who is now a mission specialist on the shuttle crew and will be returning with them, concluding his mission on the space station. This is a live view from Space Shuttle Discovery, looking back up at the orbital complex. In this view, you can see portions of the U.S. segment, as well as the truss and the solar array wing. Also prominent in this view is the Leonardo Multi-Purpose Logistics Module, or the MPLM, which represents the next major objective of this mission. That MPLM will ultimately be unberthed from the payload bay and attached to the International Space Station, and after leak checks, the crew will open the hatches and begin to unload the several thousand pounds of supplies and equipment that it's brought on board, including new science experiment work. The International Space Station and Space Shuttle Discovery docked are just making their way off the east coast of South America. They'll continue on a southeasterly track that will take them south of the tip of Africa, and then as they cross from orbital day to orbital night, they'll be just off the northwest coast of Australia. This is a view looking back at the docked complex. As you can see, the cameras being remotely operated by flight controllers here at the Mission Control Center as they're panning around the view, and a good vantage point looking down the payload bay. Again, in the left foreground is the Leonardo Multi-Purpose Logistics Module, which will be the subject of most of today's activity, as it will be removed from the Space Shuttle payload bay and positioned to be unloaded for the significant transfer work, bringing with it a significant amount of new supplies and equipment for the expedition crews. In this view, just passing out of view, is the pressurized mating adapter. That is the small compartment to which joins the Space Shuttle and the International Space Station. The Orbit 3 team frequently uses the crew sleep period to remotely operate those cameras and get a good view of the exterior of the space station. provides a valuable opportunity to get a look at all the exterior hardware and configurations and make sure everything is it should be.